Hey partners and friends, this is Pastor Melissa Harris coming to you after our wonderful church service today. It was great turnout, great presence of God. I just wanted to stop by and wish you a Merry Christmas and a very blessed New Year. As I was preparing to leave for church this morning, I was thinking and praying over the families in our church and in the church in general over the holiday season. And I know with the holidays coming up here very quickly that it's easy for our priorities to shift and for things to change. But I want to encourage you, especially you parents, to keep church attendance, to keep gathering together with the family of God a priority all season long and all year long. You know, as a child, I think I was born under a pew, and I went to church from the time I was a week or a couple weeks old onward on Sundays and Tuesdays and Thursdays and eventually on Wednesday. And you might say, well, Pastor Melissa, do you resent God? Do you have any bitterness in your heart because you lost so much of your childhood to church? Quite to the contrary, actually. 1 Chronicles 29:3 says, I have set my affection on the house of God. And as a child, I saw that my parents' affection was set on God's house, and they loved God's people. And so as a kid, I began to have affection for the house of God, and I began to love the people of God. And to this very day, it's one of my favorite places to be. It's a sanctuary and a refuge for me. It's a place where I don't just receive from God, but I have an opportunity to give God worship and praise. And so my parents were never shy about telling me what I had to do. They knew it was their job to train me. It was their job to mold me and to shape me into what it is God wanted me to be, what I should be. I didn't have an option. I didn't get to have a temper tantrum because I had a football game or I wanted to play basketball on that day, or if there was a holiday festivity or a vacation. Church day was church day. And church didn't come after everything else. It came before everything else. And today, I'm still on my way to church, but I'm not on my way to church under constraint or compulsion. I'm on my way to church because I love God. And so many of my friends, even today, serving God in the ministry, Pastor Kylie, or Pastors Alicia and Caleb in Louisiana, or Pastors Aaron and Aaron, or Pastor Carrick there in Austin, Texas. They went to church their whole lives. They were brought from service to service, and they were taught the importance of worshiping God corporately. And to this very day, He's still first place, even as they lead congregations of many, many people. Parents, I'm telling you that your kids will still love you if you make them go to church. And if you get to church yourself, they'll see the example, and they'll understand that God is not second, third, or fourth, that God and worshiping Him corporately is first place, and it always will be. You know, even Proverbs 22:6, I was discussing it with Dr. Brim when we were in a meeting in California in August. And most of you could quote it. It says, train up a child in the way that he should go, and when he's old, he won't depart from it. A lot of us take that verse to mean that if we train up our kids in the way that they should go, if we make sure that they're disciplined and they could do whatever they want to do when they grow up. They could be doctors, astronauts, lawyers, bankers, the mothers of 17 children and have their own TLC special. That's not what that verse means. In the original Hebrew, it says to train them up in the direct. The word direct, you can hear our word direction coming from its root. The direct is God's plan or path or purpose for that child. He's saying, train up your kid in my plan, according to my purpose and my path. And when they're old, they won't depart from it. He assures you of that. He gives you a promise. But training is work. And you've got to set the example. You've got to set the temple for your family. And when they're old, they may be an astronaut or a doctor or a preacher if that's what God has designed for them, but He can assure you they won't leave that path. Now, we see the greatest exodus of kids or young adults in their 20s or the college age generation right now from churches. And part of it is because they don't understand the importance of serving God. They don't understand the place of a pastor or a church in their lives. I'm here to tell you that if you'll honor the word, God will honor your efforts, and He'll help guide your child all the days of their life as you instill God's direct into them, even as a child. They'll love you. As I think about the life of Joel Osteen, the pastor of one of the largest churches in America currently. He grew up under the tutelage of his father, John Osteen, and he went to church as a little boy and as a teenager. And he was expected to sit on the front row with his dad and even work in his media department later. And he didn't resent or get bitter about the ministry or about church or God, as many people are afraid of nowadays. But as you see, that seed that was planted and cultivated and watered by his father, became what we know today as Lakewood Church. Friend, I'm not running away from God because my parents put me in a pew. I'm running to God, and he's been faithful to me. There's no condemnation if in 2012 your world or your family didn't quite look like that. We're coming up here quickly in 2013. Even with the holiday festivities, put God first. Put going to his house first. And he'll bless you for it, and he'll bless all of your generations for it. I pray that you have a prosperous new year, a blessed season in your travels. I plead the blood of Jesus over you, and I'll see you soon. Love you.